All right. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to this masterclass. I just confirmed from Fisayo that we can start. We'll be looking at commercial feed and fodder production as a source of income. I am Tunde Amole. I'm the country rep of International Livestock Research Institute based in Nairobi, Kenya. The country office is within the IITA campus in Ibadan. So we'll be looking at this section.
Tell me when I do need to start.
Sure, I will. I think we can wait for another 2 minutes. Then
session.
10 minutes past 10.
We'll look at it from both production and the marketing side of it, because as a potential investor, as a farmer, as a youth who is interested in producing livestock feed, if you are not market oriented, surely it won't be a profitable business for you. So we'll look at the overview of livestock feed, and basically livestock production depends on the feed. We may have breeding and genetics, to improve the genetic pool. We may have the head package, but if we don't have the feed, a quality feed to support that, the potentials of the animals will not be realized. And largely, ruminant animal depends on first grasses, pasture, fodder. And we have different type of fodder in different places. I'll be talking more to you about the size specificity of livestock feed in our environment. And the problem remains that we have huge number of livestock and we have limited resources to feed them. In Nigeria, according to the statistics, we have over 19 billion heads of cattle, just cattle alone, about 19 million and about 38 million of goats. And as you know, it's spread across the states. But where we have a problem, we also have opportunity. You agree with me that the population is also increasing and we need more animals to meet the population. So where we have increase of animals, there will be the demand and supply gap in feed will continue to increase. And for us, that is an opportunity. And I tell you, there's a potential feed market that is being developed everywhere from the villages to the peri-urban and to the urban center. So let me look at two types of feed, just like we are going to be discussing.
Is the Chief Executive Officer.
And we'll be looking at the feed concentrate. We'll be looking at the commercial feed. Basically, commercial feed mixed ration of different ingredients to provide high energy and protein, and some other mineral content that could not be found in feeding forages alone. So it is important. Studies have shown us that supplementation of this concentrate mixed ration is very important in production, particularly in improving dairy productivity. Like I said, concentrate is it's a formulated ration. Okay, a formulated ration of so many ingredients, supplying all the needed nutrients to the animals. Okay, and you can have a lot of materials that you can use to formulate this ration. So if you are an intending feed miller or feed producer and you are interested in producing a formulated ration, I am telling you that you are in for a good business, because livestock, particularly all over the world, still come with the need of supplementation using commercial feed, which I also refer to as. Like I said, this is very important, particularly in dairy animal, so that you can maintain the growth, to provide energy for growth, particularly the further development in meat production, and especially in the dry season. like I said, when you supply animal with formulated ration, it also improves the feed intake. I mean, the forage intake, especially when the forage is of low quality. And in terms of market, commercial feed, commercial concentrate, formulated ration, whichever one you choose to use, is highly demanded. Areas with poor, no access to natural mineral, and in the urban sector, and most importantly, in dairy industry. Now, before you consider going in formulating feed ration, looking for markets and supplying it to the farmers, you must have a good understanding of the nutritional need of the animal and the classes of animals you want to formulate feed for. If your target is to formulate feed for milking animal, they have their daily requirement, nutritional requirement. If it's for pregnant animal, if it's for weaners, it's for fattening animal, you must have the basic understanding of the nutritional need of the specific class of animal that you want to formulate feed for. Now, this business could be in a small scale, could be in a middle scale or medium scale or a large scale. So today I may be tempted to tend towards the small and the medium scale, okay, so that everyone on the platform can take a bit of what is needed and you can hit the ground running. If you can produce at a small scale, at a medium scale, you only need to upscale, get more equipment to become a large scale commercial feed producer. But I'm going to be discussing even to the minimum level so that within your cluster, within your environment, you can meet the feed challenge, becoming an entrepreneur in commercial feed production. You must also understand that livestock feed issues are site specific in the sense that the need and the demand gap in a particular location differ from the other location, as well as the feed resources. Okay, so you must have the understanding of your location. After that, you can spread your tentacles to touch other areas, but wherever you like to create a niche for yourself, you must understand the demand in that area and the available feed resources. Because if you are going to be sourcing your feed ingredient from far, definitely it's going to hinge on your cost of production and you will not be competitive in the market. Okay, you must also have the understanding of feed formulation principles. This you can learn it. This you can employ the service of a nutritionist, to teach you how do I take XYZ ingredient. What is this ingredient supply? What is the quantity of the crude protein, the energy, the minerals, the element contained, at what range can I mix them? You can do that in a simple Pearson square formulation, equation, very simple. Because of time, I will not be discussing that. Or you can use some other feed application. Of course, the world has developed so fast now. Though not all these feed calculator have can be trusted, but there are few of them that relate to your environment. Okay, I know of a feed calculator that is being used very well in this country and also in Tanzania where we've been working. You can also use simple Microsoft spreadsheet, which is Excel. I'll be showing you a little of that from a case study that we did. So that if you look at this picture, you'll see I have a list of some items, okay, some ingredients, the CP, the metabolizable energy, and the cost. So the understanding of nutritional composition helps you to prepare a formulated ration with this ingredient, and you get the best out of it. And like I said, you must understand where and what ingredients you will need to prepare the specific formulated ration you're talking about. You can look at the quality of this ingredient vis-a-vis the prices. There are some that they share same quality or relatively same quality in terms of protein or energy, and the prices are different. But in all you do, you need to understand what you will need to formulate a specific ration you were talking about. I also listed here some ingredients. Some of them are protein source, some of them are the energy source ingredients. You have different types, and you need to understand which one of these are, in abundance in your environment. Surely it may be cheaper than for you to be bringing in an ingredient from a far distance. Now, either at a small scale or at a medium scale, you need to also understand the type of equipment that you will need, the machines, and of course, the production cycle. Basically, you need some simple machine. You need the hammer mill, which some people also call a crusher, because some of the feed ingredient that you want to mix into a ration comes in different sizes. Okay, and some of them could be bogus enough that you cannot even be able to mix them in their big sizes. So you need to grind them. You will also need a weighing scale because you are producing to specification. You want to produce a ton, you want to produce half ton, you want to produce 100 kg. Okay, you need to know the measurement, the quality, the quantity of each ingredient that is going into the mixture of probably 100 kg or a ton. Okay, so you need a weighing scale, a very good weighing scale. You will also need a mixing machine, particularly if you are going for higher ton. If you don't have a mixing machine and you are just starting, maybe as a young person, you are just starting, you could just have a mixing panel, a very clean floor, and you have your shovel to mix it. And you must make sure you mix this very well. But as your production increases, to get an half-ton mixer will not be too difficult because it helps your production, it makes it faster. You need just one person to do this, unlike the case of manual mixing where you will need about 2 or 3 people to help you to mix it. Okay, some of these mixtures could be dusty. So in another way, you can also have a pelleting machine to bring the mash, okay, to change the physical structure of the mash into a pellet. This can also help in the storability of the ingredients and in transportation as well. And of course, to give your product a brand, okay. You will also need a bagging. You also need a packing machine. There's something we call a locking machine. When you bag your product, you need to seal it properly, and you need to brand your product. Okay, even if you are starting small, try and brand your product. Get a name, and if you are going bigger, you have to go through all the process of business registration. But it's good that you have a brand. It's good people know your brand with you. Then you must have a good storage facility and a marketing outlet. If you don't have a means of marketing, probably you want to go online. You can use Naira Land. You can use a lot of other platform online. Then you must be able to have a good and structured marketing outlet alongside with a storage facility where you can store your product. So I give you a case study. This is an example of a concentrate formulated for ram fattening, okay? And the target was to produce a formulated ration of about 13% crude protein and, a metabolizable energy that is not less than 10, okay? And this was, we used normal Microsoft Excel to do this. We have all the ingredients. We know the nutrient content and what they contain, and you do some normal mathematics calculation to produce this. With this, this was done some weeks back, with some of our young entrepreneur producing feed in Southwest Nigeria. Now, the price even at the production level, using the available feed resources as ingredients, cost about 51 naira per kg. I decided to go that low so that you will understand what I'm saying. Then when you check the least price of any of the commercial feed for ruminants in the market, none of them is less than 71 naira per kg. So as someone that is just coming into the business, or even if you are there already and you are saying that your cost of production is high, probably you need to look back and see what are the resources around you. Okay, and we look at how to bring the cost down to produce high quality feed. So with this feed for 51 naira, if you choose to storm the market at the price of 65 naira, you'll be saving about 14 naira or thereabout, okay, or about 13 naira per kg. So consider you are selling about 500 kg probably in a week. So you are storming the market from your own end with a quality feed. Now, you must have some tips. If you are starting or you're already starting or you want to start thinking about it, I want to let you know that you must hone your own product. One of the lessons I have learned in Nigeria is when you are producing a particular product, try to use that product yourself. Okay? Some of our youth entrepreneurs, what we teach them to do is get 2 or 3 animals that you are also, raising, and you are using your own product to feed them. That sells your market very fast. Okay? And you will also be able to get feedback from your farmers. So if anybody is using your product and they complain, so you'll be able to know, do you have the same problem in your own small farm? Okay? Or it is more of management problem that your client is having. So this gives your product a hedge. You can defend your product. So hold your product, brand it, make good use of it, and you can manipulate your product, from that end. Now, if you are just coming into the business, make sure you give room for various sizes, okay? And if your market is still very small or you are just introducing it to the market and you notice that some farmers just need some 10 kg bag, 15 kg bag, 25 kg bag, be flexible enough to target your market. All right. And I believe either with the small scale or the large scale, you will have different clients, some with the large scale clients, and some just need about 10 kg probably every day or every 2 months. I mean, just to keep the animal alive, okay? And if you're able to target large dairy farmers, cluster of dairy farmers, then you can produce in large quantity. Like I did say the other time, consider using cheap and alternative ingredients, okay, to supply the target nutrient. But while you are doing that, go for quality feed ingredients. This is very, very important. Go for quality feed ingredients. While you are trying to use alternatives, least cost alternatives, make sure you don't compromise the quality, because inferior products will kick you out of business. The farmers just need to use your product once. After all, the news will spread like wildfire. Nobody buy your product again. Okay, whatever you said in your label that is contained, let it be what is contained. Okay, don't find a way to cheat the market. You will be cheating yourself, and you will cause a lot of havoc for many farmers. Many people who are just entering the business, livestock business, can get scared. So let's continue to encourage that we produce good quality, feed. Make sure you keep abreast of the market price so that you can meet the market. Keep record of everything you are doing, the price of ingredients, the dates, all your machines, the servicing, the fueling, the transportation. Keep good record. I know most farmers in Nigeria don't even keep record, and this is very important. When you have an adequate record. You have a database to predict. For example, I'll give you an example. In one of our production mill, I have a data of what it costs, okay, to mix half ton of ingredients. The power supply units. I know that I need XYZ units to grind 50 kg of this. So I have the data of that. Because when you have staffs and you are not there, okay, and you told and then they have used your credit, I mean your power supply credit, for something else. So you must have a data. You must know when you service the last time you service your equipment, so that you can keep abreast of your business. And the other thing you could do to promote your business is to add additional service for your customers. Probably you can introduce them to a vet around them. You can introduce them to some other nutrient supplements. You can come around and give advice. Okay, so that means you must have an adequate training of livestock management, because sometimes farmers use your product and your product is good, but because they are not doing certain things properly, so that can keep you out of business. So learn to know your customers and provide some services to them. And I think if you do this, you target your market, you have the understanding of what each feed ingredient contains, you just need to start, and the sky is not even the limit. Now, let's briefly look at fodder production. I know in Nigeria, this is very, very new, because traditionally we know that there are grasses everywhere and animals are free to, eat any grass anywhere. But I need to tell you that natural pasture is not as nutritious, does not support animals alone, okay? There are improved forage species that can give your animals good needed nutrients, okay, alongside with this supplement, like I said, and your animals can grow commensurably. And I tell you, there is market for fodder production. Okay, so I'll be looking at the profitability of fodder production and the marketing. I look at two species I would like to recommend to you from years of experience that can give you high yield and that you can market easily. Okay, the requirements, what you need, the seed, what you need in terms of labor and in marketing. But first, let me discuss the market with you. I have realized that feed markets, livestock feed market, exist in virtually every urban community in this nation. Okay, so I'm so sure that when you visit the market, you will see some people like this. If you look at my slide and the picture there, okay, you have people who go into the wild, into the natural pasture, into areas around them, and to cut different kind of grasses and bring to the market to sell. I have interviewed people and they said they have been doing this in the last 15 years. Okay, so alongside with every other dry stuff, every other fodder and other livestock feed that you will meet in the market, there is a market for fresh fodder, particularly in the urban area and for dairy farmers. Let's just take an example. A record shows that over 10,000 cattle moves from the northern part of Nigeria to the southern part. There's a record for that. And now when this animal comes, okay, most times they get to Lagos, to get to Ibadan, or to some other cities. They are not slaughtered that same day, okay? Sometimes they are kept there for 2-3 days. In fact, sometimes a month, okay, in that livestock market. Now, these animals depend on feed to survive. All right, because if you keep the animals there and you don't feed them well, you won't be able to sell them at the price. At a good price I can give you. So these animals are sustained on feed. Now, visiting one of these market, particularly in Southwest, Ibadan specifically, look at the bundle, of that grass on your screen. That bundle weighs between 38 and 40 kg. Okay, in dry matter, it's almost about 8 kg. Okay, after the analysis. Each bundle in the rainy season cost about 400 naira. This bundle you're seeing on the screen is about 400 naira in the rainy season. In the dry season, it can go as far as, as high as 600, 700 in Ibadan market, or just one market in Ibadan. Okay, now let us assume, because we have a record showing that 6,000 heads of cattle head for Lagos market every day. If one of these cattle is about 250 kg, okay, and you must feed it at 3% daily weight, 3% of their body weight in dry matter. So you need about 7.5 to 8 kg fodder to keep this animal alive. Just one of these bundle is what you need. Now let's do the calculation. If there are 6,000 heads of cattle entering Okoba market in Lagos alone, talk less of those with the farmers. I'm not even talking of those that are into dairy already, who are keeping the animals for dairy. Okay, with that calculation, 6,000 cattle going to Lagos market will require about 2.4 million naira worth of grasses every day to survive. That's not a joke. And if you consider the number of animals that are kept there for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, you will know that there is a big market around fresh fodder. Let me give you a case study. There is a market called Akinyele Livestock Market in Ibadan, Southwest. We had a short-term study around, fresh fodder marketing in that market, and from those that are selling these grasses, they told us that about 1,500 bundles are brought to the market every day. For us to confirm that, we were there between 10:30, 10:20 to 2:30, for about several days, and we know that's just for 4 hours. And we counted about 377 bundles, an average of that, of fresh fodder in the rainy season, not even in dry season, that comes into that market within 4 hours. If each bundle costs 400 naira, within 4 hours, that is a market worth of 150,000 naira within 4 hours. So this is a huge market, which we can venture in. Now, let me look at two types of grasses over time that we've worked on, and from other research institutes that have worked on, forage grasses. There is a good one that you all know called the Napier grass. We call it the elephant grass. Napier grass, we have a record that is very, very good because it contains a high level of soluble carbohydrates. Okay, soluble carbohydrate can quickly be turned to energy, particularly for dairy animal, which is required in their milk production. Okay, a lot of studies have shown that even the white Fulani that gives about 1 liter, 1.5 liter, when they are being fed with fresh Napier, some farmers realize about 4 liters in a day, 3.5, 4 liters in a day. Of course, alongside with some other supplement, but this grass, Napier grass, provide enough soluble carbohydrate, okay, to give energy. Now, for you as an investor or as a farmer who wants to go into forage production, Napier grass will be a best bet. Number one, there's a market for it already. So identify the market around you, okay? It can be propagated through the seed, but better still through the stem, which is mostly common. Okay, the yield of Napier per hectare, okay, in fresh grass could be about 150 tons per hectare. Of course, you can get that in 2 months or in 3 months maximum. And as you cut every 40 to 45 days, you can still realize certain yield that could be sold in the market. Napier is drought tolerant, so you don't fear the dry season too much. And it's perennial. Once you have established it, it can last for over 5 years. I will still be talking on how you handle this production generally, okay? But I'm letting you know that to invest in Napier grass, particularly where you have a lot of dairy farmers, you may be in business, and it's best for cut and carry. You may not need to graze Napier. The other one is Brachiaria resiliensis. We have a lot of, so many variety of Brachiaria, but Ruzi has come to show that it's highly nutritious. The yield is fantastic. Within 8 weeks, you can get about 32 tons, 30 to 40 tons. Okay, but I limit it to 32. That's the least you can get with all good management. Okay, Brachiaria has a regenerative capacity, very, very rapid regenerative capacity. You can have 2-3 regrowth in 4 weeks. Every 4 weeks interval, if you have a good soil and is well, watered, you can go as far as 3 to 4 regrowth every 4 weeks. Okay, and the yield, even if it's, could remain constant. Okay, with a little drop by the third and the fourth regrowth, but you can sustain the yield. Brachiaria is easy to propagate through seed. Just plow your land. I'll be discussing that later, and get good seed. It's also drought tolerant. It adapts well to irrigation. So if you have irrigation opportunity, you can be in business all year round, particularly in the dry season. It responds well to irrigation. Like I said, it's highly nutritive. It's about 7 to 8% crude protein, and the metabolizable energy is not less than 8. And okay, even as a farmer, Brachiaria can sustain companion crop. If you have a millet farm, or you have a sorghum farm, Brachiaria can also be grown there, and you are sure it's going to smooth out all the weed. So, but that will be after after about 4 to 6 weeks of your cereal that has grown. Okay, and it's also a perennial grass. So if you are considering, okay, let me start thinking of producing fodder, fresh fodder, you will need a well-fenced land area. This is not because this is a cultivation. This is a farmland. Okay, just like you will not want animals or anyone to go into your maize farm, your cassava farm. If you are able to secure a land, okay, and is well fenced, yes, you can start your production. If it's not fenced, just if you're able to secure it, in terms of invasion of animals or people going there to cut your grasses, your forages. If you can secure that, then you may not need to fence. But over time, you may need to fence. You must consider a good source of water. If you have access to irrigation, it's fantastic. If you have a forage chopper, it's beautiful. You can add value, okay, to your client. If you have a place where you harvest and sell, if you have a sale point, okay, and your client comes to the sale point, they may want it chopped. You may want to, reduce the size for them, and you can add that kind of services. We have some cooperative farmers that procure forage chopper, and when you want to, when you want that service, you pay for it, because when you're feeding your dairy animals or any classes of your animal with forages and it's not chopped, you're likely going to have a lot of waste. You must also secure a source of quality seed if you are using seed, and you must have fertilizer. You must have the knowledge of good pasture management, the planting dates, when am I going to plant. You must be aware of the planting rate and how you plan your establishment, okay, plot establishment in such a way that you don't just harvest your farm at once. Since you want to always be in business, you want to have a product to put to the market or sell to your clients. So you have a kind of rotational planting so that you can have a rotational harvesting. If you divide if you divide your land into 4 and you plant, a week or 2 interval around the 4 paddock, you can also harvest around in a rotational version. The picture you see here, a live picture of some youths that are engaged in pasture production in Southwest. Okay, so you need to do good land preparation, just as if you want to plant your arable crop. Do the harrowing, the plowing, the harrowing. It helps you to control weed, okay, because you don't want weed on your farm. Do your seed planting, then do weeding. It may be necessary for you to do weeding 2 or 3 times, okay, to secure good yield.
Hello, Dr.
You also need. Yes, hello.
Hello, Dr. Mali.
Yes, hello.
I'm Ismail. I'm moderating this section. Please, you have 5 minutes to round off for question and answer session.
So, thank you very much. So let me just round up. So you need all this. Thank you, Ismail. You need all this and your harvesting. Now I can give you another example of relating with some farmers in the Northern Garden for about 3 years. We conducted this work. You can see the cost of producing a kg dry matter of Brachiaria and sorghum album and the profit margin. After all, the least profit margin here was around 250 USD per harvest for the farmers. And if you look at the picture, those are live, real picture of the farmers involved in it and how they took it to the market. You have to cost even the transportation to the market, and you get your cost, your profit margin. The other aspect that you can also look into while you are going into fresh forage production is to is forage seed production. Yes, you can allow after harvest, you allow your pasture to rest for a while, and so that they can produce seed. Particularly if you had fertilizer, then they can give you some seed. At present, the cost of a kg of Brachiaria species is about 5,000 naira, which is much more than the cost of a kg of rice or beans, in the market. So if you want to get into seedling production or seed production, there is also a big market around that. I will briefly look at hay and silage. Hay, yes, you can be involved in hay, particularly for those people in the northern area where you have high sun intensity. You can also have if you are going to get into hay, it could be a bit. If you are going into it in large quantity, it could be hay and silage could be a bit capital intensive, but you can still do it at a smaller scale. Okay, if you have granules and cowpea, immediately you do your harvest, you can also bundle the crop residues, as green as it is, sell and get to the market. Many of us will have seen this in the market very well, and the people selling this have been very productive. Okay, I've spoken about silage as well. Silage could be very technical, so you need a lot of knowledge, to get into it. And if you are going into silage production for sale, then you must consider producing it in bag silo, so that it could be easy to sell. Okay, you can sell a bag, 2 bags, 3 bags. Okay, then you teach your clients how to use it. So let me just conclude. We come to understand that adequate supply of quality and quantity feed is a key aspect of improving our dairy industry in Nigeria and livestock production generally. And the gap keeps getting wider every day. So there is a large space for any player to come on board. Okay, now the feed value chain is gradually becoming more organized, and that is showing us that we have a lot of opportunity. But before you go into it, you need to understand the market, you need to understand your clients, you need to have the understanding of what you want to do. You need to also take an inventory of the feed available around you and what is missing, because that is critical to build your business, to create the supply that the demand is needed. Let me just round up on this by saying thank you for listening, and I wish you a good time entering into feed production business. Thank you.
Very much, Dr. Male, for that insight into the feed business. We are very grateful for sharing your experience with us. In your DM, I have questions for you from the participants. I don't know if you can navigate into your DM, or I can be saying it.
Let me try and see. Okay, I need to stop sharing first. It's not allowing me to share. All right, so I don't, can I see the questions?
Okay, let me read the questions out for you.
Okay.
The first question is around NAFDAC. Somebody is asking, is there a need to engage with NAFDAC as one ventures into the commercial feed production?
Since you are going to be in production, I think there is another body that you need to discuss with. Okay. In NAFDAC, there is a unit that deals with feed aspect. It may be important if you are thinking of going far in taking in that business. So I will advise you, get NAFDAC involved, then get the animal science people involved. I think there is a body, I suddenly forget the name now, that you must negotiate with, okay, that get them involved before you produce. Since you are going to produce for the market, that's quite important. If you are producing for your own use, you may not, but if you are producing for the market, you may want to secure your business. I think it's very important.
Thank you for that.
I know there are challenges around it, but you can solve those challenges once you are determined. Thank you.
Thank you for the response. Another question is this: how do you ensure good labeling practice as you engage in formulating feed for commercial purposes? A question in that line: are there legal standard parameters for labeling in Nigeria?
I think the Standard Organization of Nigeria does that. There is a way you label certain commodity. So your interaction with Standard Organization of Nigeria will be very good. I have an example. We're trying to also come up with a product from cassava peel, and we are in talk with Standard Organization of Nigeria. But as an individual, make sure that the quality of the content is the same quality on the label. One of the things you can do is to occasionally take samples of your product to laboratory. Okay, I know Animal Care has one. I'm not promoting them. Okay, but I know there are other places you can just do. You can use dry chemistry using near infrared spectrometer. Okay, to check the NIRS, to check what is the content of my feed. So you can do routine quality check, but make sure that what you put on your label is what is inside the content. And like I said, there should be a standard, and there is a standard of labeling and producing a new product in Nigeria. I know that very well.
Thank you very much. Another question here is asking, what is the role of GMP or GAP in commercial feed quality and safety production?
The role of
GMP or GAP in commercial feed production and feed quality.
I think I'm missing what GMP is. Can I understand
good
the person?
Good manufacturing practices, and
okay.
GAP is good agronomic practices.
Absolutely. If your management practices are not in shape, you will not be able to produce good products. And once you are not producing good products, your business is going to shut down. Like I said, I know here in Nigeria, a lot of people do a lot of things. But I keep telling people that even if the regulation and the laws and regulation, even if they are not so strong to keep you out of business, your poor product will keep you out of business. Because as a farmer, I only need to buy your product once. Once I buy it and it's giving me results, you have much more customers, okay? But if I buy your products and you fail, surely you are going to get out of business. So yourself, your staffs, the equipment you want to use, and at every line of processing, good management practices is key. Because you see, in livestock feed production, if you have about 5 level of production, I mean 5 stages in production, once you compromise your good management practice at a particular level, it will affect the other product. You understand? If you don't source a good ingredient, whatever good practices you put into the mixing and everything, your product is going to be bad. Okay, we've had people want to supply us tons of maize, and it's about 15% moisture content. That's not fair. So we have to reject at that point. So even from the point of procurement to production to sale, good management practice is key, and that will keep you in business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amale. Another question here is asking, if one lacks the land to plant, can one simply focus on concentrate feed mix 6 for sale?
Absolutely, you can. You can. You may not need to go into forage production, even if you have the land and the market is not there around you. You don't want to go into a production that has no market. So first thing, get the market. If you know that you have the land, yes, you can also invest in the land. If you're able to do your business case properly and there is market for it, okay, you can invest in the land and then you cultivate. But if all these are not there, you don't need more than a plot of land to set up to start with. Okay, I'm not saying a big scale. To start with, you need this little land area to start the concentrate feed production.
Thank you very much. Another person is asking, what is the benefit cost ratio for feeding a kilogram of feed and the value of incremental mix yield in the cow?
This is not a direct, there is no direct answer to this because it depends on what you are feeding, okay, and the cost of what you are feeding. But I will always advise that when your cost of feeding, okay, is more than the half cost of your final product, you need to look at the cost of feeding properly. So I will say that it depends on what you are feeding. It depends on the cost of producing it, and even the type of animal you are using. The breed differences come to play in this. Your management come to play in this. But you must keep a good record. If you are introducing a feed, okay, into your animal, get good advice and knowledge of what has been the result of other people in the past. Then you check, what is the cost of this feed for me? What is the final cost of my product? If it is more than half, because feed costs keep fluctuating. So if at this point and the particular season is more than half, in another season it could be more than that and it won't be profitable for you. So, but we can discuss this at personal level, later to look at what's your scenario, and this is how you can address that scenario. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amale. Another person is asking around startup capital. That person is saying, what is the startup capital for fodder production or fodder sales business?
Depending on your scale. Depending on your scale and depending on your location. How much is land where you are? Okay, there are some costs that you may not need to, you don't have a blank cost for this. Okay, but if you are going into Brachiaria, okay, you will need at least, so that you can be sure of the establishment, you will need about 20 kg of Brachiaria, for an hectare. Okay, and that's almost and per kg already you have 5,000. So you know what that will mean. You will need almost about 6 bags of fertilizer, okay, and the labor around you. So it depends on where you are. Okay, this you can engage experts on. Okay, this is my plan. And of course, the person gives you the cost analysis around where you are for you to be in business. So it's difficult for me to say, well, it is 300,000, 400,000, because these are size specific. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amale, for the great responses to the questions. We are very grateful. Before we start the session, we were unable to introduce Dr. Amale to our participants, and I think it's okay if I do it now before we suspend this session and return to the stage for the continuation of the program. Dr. Amale served as a senior lecturer at Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, from 2005 to 2013, before joining International Livestock Research Institute as the country representative in Nigeria here. He's a livestock specialist, and he has experience in other aspects of livestock production and management. Thank you very much for joining this session. We can return to the stage for continuation of this program. Thank you all.